Right, we're going to assemble Harley Davidson WLA front hub and brakes. WLCs are totally different. Anything with interchangeable, what they call interchangeable wheels, the front brake setup's completely different and the hub setup's completely different.
Yeah.
Like, that's interchangeable wheel, WLC's interchangeable wheel. Basically, only the WLA and the XA that have got the 45 style front hub.
Yeah.
So, like I say, they are completely different. These are a lot easier. Right. And the first thing you want to do, giving it a bit of a clean out, is grease up again. Where all your ball bearings go. Plenty of grease, don't be shy of it. Again, if you can, if you've got them, always put new ball bearings in.
What size ball bearings are these?
5/16. If you ever want to do a quick check on a size or something, 5/16 spanner.
That's a good shout.
So, yeah, they're 5/16. Right, now you put this in from this side. That's your spindle. He lives in there. You've got enough grease in there to hold the ball bearings. Right, and have a little snap ring round them, look, see that? Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
That just pops it in once it's gone in there. So that's gone in. Then you've got this cover here. It's just like a grease cover, yeah? You just tap him on, but it stops all of that falling out when you turn it over. That's that one done. Now this way you can rest it on the spindle because you know it's not going to fall out, yeah? Well, that cover's on too tight. We'll get this started. Actually, I think I'll bang that out a little bit. See, that isn't in the centre of that for some reason.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's something wrong there. So we've got to take, I'll probably bang that outer cover on too hard. If ever you're banging something back out that's got a thread on it, always put a nut on so you don't damage the thread, and then you can just tap the edge of that, yeah?
Yeah.
I think that's squared out a bit just by moving it that little bit I did. That's it. So I just bang that cover on too tight, yeah? It wasn't allowing it to move properly.
And you've got to allow it to move a bit.
Yeah, because if that's jammed in there against one way, it's just going to gam itself up, yeah? Our friend Mr. Grease again. Plenty of it. Yeah, you can see this has got all the green paint underneath it, so it was, what's the WLA? It was military, but so God knows when that got changed to the Barani rims. These are nice rims, actually. A lot of money's worth.
Yeah.
Campagnolo or Barani. And you have this again. That screws on. You don't really need to put grease on, but the more grease you can get in there, the better.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
You winding it down till it's flush.
Winding it down till it picks up on the ball bearings.
Right.
Because you've got the ball bearings in your cone and your V cone going in that way.
Yeah.
So then you can adjust it. So you've got absolutely no play in there, that's rotating nicely, yeah? So what you've got is this special washer.
Yeah.
So you've got a slot in there, in your spindle, and you've got a pin there, look.
Yeah.
So that, you pop him down on there. So you don't want to go tighter. We know we've got to take him round. Just back him off very, very slightly. Okay? So that, in theory, locks your inner cone.
Yeah.
Okay? And you've got your cover. And then your nut. Okay, so you know your inner cone can't move because of the lock washers on there.
Yeah.
So you've got nice rotation, absolutely no play in it. Get a pair of grips. Right, you just want to hold that with your grips. Try and use a bit of cloth on it if you can, because it fits into that bearing there. That's literally all it needs, just a little lock up. If it's assembled correctly, with everything where it should be, see that spindle's pretty much flush with the end of that. Your spindle's flush with the edge of the nut, look, see? So it's nice and free rotating, no play in there at all, which is what you want. So that's basically your hub assembly. And you've got your brake assembly, yeah? He just slots on there. On that. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's all held by what they call, it's a brake, I think they call it a brake stabiliser. All of this bolts onto there, we'll do that in a minute. I just want to strip this down and get some copper slip in it. Okay, and when you're assembling these, your springs always go on the back side. Otherwise it makes the shoes do that. If they're on the back side of them, yeah, it pulls them back that way. On your brake operating lever, the cam, you can only just see it. It's got outside written on there. Always make sure that again is to the outside. We just want to take him out. Should have a spring washer on it, but okay. Give him a little clean up. Okay, clear your grease passage out. Some of them had grease nipples in the end, some didn't. So you just pump it full of light grease with a little. So you get this, got oil in it for the lathe, but it's just a little pump, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So you know you've got some oil in her, all clear. Bit of copper slip, because again it's a part that doesn't go round and round and round fast. It's just making sure it's got some lube on it. So outside, that's better. So that will sit like that. That will go on there like that. That's better. Okay, now your top one. You just want to clean him up a bit. Right, see those serrations in there?
Yeah.
just get yourself a wire brush and just clean them out. Don't have to go mad with it, just get the worst of it out, you know. Okay, and see the serrations in there? That's just those serrations. They don't really have serrations, they're marks where the nut's been done up so tight, yeah?
Yeah.
Now all that does, see that little bit of movement? So when you're putting your brakes all together, leave that loose. Not loose, you just want to be able to, just that little bit. And then when you set it all up properly, you adjust your front brake up on the cable, pull the front brake lever as hard as you can, and that will then centre itself.
Okay.
So then you lock it up whilst holding the brake lever in, and that just centres everything up. Doesn't matter for assembly purposes, but you just back it off when you're adjusting the brake up. Right, so that's that. That's to the outside. Bit of copper slip. There and there. On your rotation. Right, that's that. Get your springs back on. Right. One of them in there. Started. Right. Okay, let's have a quick look at that. Okay. Yeah, that's the right way round. Okay, you see them expanding on your cam?
Mm-hmm.
That's them all in there properly.
If that wasn't the right way round.
I don't know. It's probably to do with the angle of the square cut on that to pick up the brake lever in line.
But how would you know if it was the wrong way round?
Which got that bit there. Because on the other side it goes all the way round. It hasn't got a little step there, yeah?
Okay.
So that's that. See that notch out there? You would think that they go on the other way to bring them in closer, but you can't do it because of your backing plate there, yeah? For the strengthener for the shackle. Okay. So that only goes one way. Again, not a massive amount of movement on this, but you just want a bit of grease around it, yeah? So that sits on a phosphor bronze bearing in there. Right, so this is what they call the brake stabiliser kit. Well, this was completely knackered on Craig's one, so we've had to get a new one. Could only get it in chrome, I'm afraid, but that's the way it goes sometimes. Right, so you have one copper washer, brass washer, a little bit of grease, not a lot. And he sits over those two studs. Okay?
Yep.
And that bit sits over the two studs. Then another one of those. They do have a grease nipple on the outside, but it's just nicer to assemble things with a bit of grease when you're doing it. Maybe I just like getting greasy. Okay, right. Lift him up a bit. So we're not bottoming out all the time. Actually, you can assemble this off, it might be easier. Okay, you want to make sure that your studs are coming through because they hold that washer. Okay, and you've got a spring washer, you don't need to grease that. And you've got your cover plate with a slot in it, so that has to go that way, yeah? Let's get one on. I don't think you'll get the spring washer and start it. You might do. Right, let's pull him down with that one first. What it is, because it's all spring loaded, but when it's on the bike, all of this will be clamped in with the spindle.
Yeah.
So you can just undo those two nuts and put your spring washer on, because it'll all be held into place. You just nip that down. It's moving nicely. Right, they're nipped down for the moment, that's fine. So that sets it up so that your rim is pretty much level with the back plate. These are always bent. Always bent.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. The brake cable pulls that way, so that locks your brakes on. Okay? Right, so let's clear out the front and see if we can get the front wheel in. See that stabiliser bit there?
Yeah.
That goes into that piece there. Just sits on it. Right. So your front wheel goes roughly there, and we know that's roughly lined up. But see this piece here goes into that bit, like we said. You've got to make sure that that is going to go into that. See it snug in?
I think so.
Did you see it? Do you want me to take it out again?
Yeah, go on.
Right, okay. So you've got your cup there,
Yeah.
and you've got your circle there, yeah?
Yeah.
You've got to make sure that when that goes in there, see that's just snugged into
Yeah,
it.
got it. Yeah.
So that's that. Pull that. Okay. Again, I won't lock anything up on that yet. We've got to get our shackle in now. Pretty beefy, aren't they?
They are.
Yep, he's all good. Bit of copper slip. I think it's that way. Yep, that's the kitty. I'll turn him round a little bit more. Coolio. Right, then you've got a special lock tab. Right, so that's your lock tab. So it's got a square edge on it. And so is your bolt, you just push through. So you know he goes with a square edge there, look. So that sits in there and hits against the forks. So when your nut's on, you just lock him off to stop it coming undone, yeah? That's all it is. Again, people go mad, frantic doing things like that. They don't have to be that tight. Just nipped up, and then you know you've got your locker on it then. Right. That's lovely. Nice and tight. Right, that we've got to find a washer for. Yeah, that's him. Okay, basically that is your assembled front end. Can't do any more with it till the weight of the engine's in it and it's on the floor. Then you can make sure your shackles are working, make sure nothing's binding, make sure your springs are going up and down, you know.
But you can't do that until you got the weight of the bike in there.
No, you've got to get the weight of the engine in it, the bike complete and on the floor.
Yeah.
Preferably with somebody sitting on it while they're pumping it, and you can play around with it and see what's what, yeah?
If you didn't do that and you tightened everything up and you got it settled there, what would be the repercussions of that?
It'll probably be very stiff, first of all. I mean, it'll soon wear itself in, it'll soon move.
Yeah.
But you don't want it to be like that.
No.
You know, you want to try and get it right first time. So, like I say, it's just that's assembled. I don't do any of the lock tabs up, don't put any of the split pins in until I've got it on the floor and I know that it's all working as I want it to work.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you've got to bang all the lock tabs back off, you know. But generally that all got too much weight on the front end there. I have to get the back wheel in it, otherwise it'll fall over. That's generally, just leave it at that for the time being. Like I say, till you've got it on the floor, and then you can really start adjusting everything up.